Hello, today I'm going to check out the game Doom from Fantasy Flight Games with cooperation from Bethesda, obviously based on the video game from Bethesda. And the board game designed by Jonathan Ying. It's kind of a standard large bookshelf kind of game. Artwork is good. There was an earlier version too in 2004. I know this at least has like upgraded miniatures to make it more modern. Might be some other differences too. We'll check it out. Some description on the back here. Doom, the board game, thrusts up to 4 heavily armed Marines in the fight to protect humanity against the darkest evils of hell. The UAC Marines will load up their arsenal as they charge through the treacherous missions, struggling fiercely to overtake the invaders' horde of ravenous demons and accomplish near impossible feats. It's got 37 plastic figures, 2 rulebooks, an operation guide, which is the scenarios, 6 dice, 8 demon cards, 36 event cards, 73 action cards, 12 invasion cards, 3 threat cards, 10 initiative cards, 4 marine cards, 6 objective cards, 24 class cards, 12 glory kill cards, 4 squad cards, 4 stun cards, 24 map tiles, 8 plastic stands, and 187 sorted tokens. Credits: Game design, Jonathan Ying. Game development, Derek Fuchs and Andrew Wyshak. Producer, technical writing, and improving graphic design, Will Springer and Samuel Schmonta, Ivan Schmidt, and Michael Silsby. And the other credits. Check out the contents here. I think Fantasy Flight Game always does a good job, although they're pretty sparse in as far as like what their storage solutions are, and this is probably the same with this one. So there's a Learn to Play book. Other good examples. 16 pages. Rules reference. 24 pages. Operation guide, which is the scenarios. There's Operation Black Bishop, and within that there's missions. There's 6 missions within that operation. And then there's Operation Exodus, which has 6 missions as well. Then a reference on the back. Some tiles for the play area. 2-sided. Well done. Here's the large cards. The smaller cards. Dice with stands. There's 6 unique dice, and the stands some more play surface tiles. Quite a variety. And then all the tokens. Then aside you have the miniatures, which good modern miniatures. Here's all the 37 miniatures. Again, they're modern and well done. There's 33 demons and 4 marines. This larger one, the cyber demon, has to be assembled. You put the arms on and the head on. All the rest are one piece. Here's the unique demons. There's multiples of all of these except for this one. This is the only singular one. Got the cyber demon, Mancubus, Baron of Hell, Pinky, Cocodemon, Revenant, Possessed Soldier, and Imp. All the miniatures are very well done. Each of the demon types have a card associated with them. And the demons cards, for instance, on Cocodemon, they all have And all the demon cards, they have speed, which is movement points, their attack box, including the range value here, the health value, and this is the stagger level. If they're at this level of health, they have negative consequences, and these are their abilities. For instance, the Cuckoo Demon, flying while moving, you may ignore terrain and figures. Chomp, before rolling any dice for an attack, if the defender is adjacent to you, replace 2 red dice with 2 black dice. Plasma Tether, after you perform an attack, the defender becomes stunned. And this symbol indicates a special defense ability. In this case, when it's triggered, you get a shield, which is 1 defense point. Or you can also, in this case, you get a dodge where you can avoid any damage. In the attack box, it shows the dice you use for attacking. In this case, 3 red dice. And there's 4 unique miniatures for the Marines. And they each have initiative cards corresponding to them. And then for the demons, there's 6 initiative cards for the invader demons. And the map surface is made of these interconnecting tiles, and they're all very well done, 2-sided. Interconnecting a lot of different options. And there's 8 door tokens of stand, so I'll bring the tongs out here for those. And there's 6 dice, 2 black and 4 red. The black seem to do a little more damage. Looks like the black dice have 2 1s, 3 2s, and 1 3, and this is the amount of damage that an item takes unless they have a shield to defend them, or they dodge it. The red has 3 1s, 1 no hits, and 2 hits. The dice, I'm not a huge fan of dice. They seem kind of light. They seem kind of light compared to regular dice, but they get the job done. Comes with a good quantity of different types of tokens, 2-sided. Here's all the tokens. Here's the unique tokens. I do appreciate it that there's a manageable amount of different kinds of tokens, but these are weapons tokens for the Marines, including some grenades, stun tokens, damage tokens. Some have a 3 value, some have a 1. Health pack tokens, teleporter tokens, and these have a different value on the other side. These weapons have the same value on both sides, but on grenades they have different values on the other side. Portal tokens, different value on the other side for these. Frag tokens, Argent power tokens, progress threat tokens. You got the progress side, and then you have the threat side. And then you have objective tokens. And there's 36 event cards, 73 action cards, 12 invasion cards, and 3 threat cards. Some examples here. And the demons event cards here have various effects. For instance, here's Darkness. Play this card at the start of activation phase. Keep this card in play. When a Marine performs an attack, the range value is reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1. Discard it at the end of the round. Blood Rush. And the Marine draws from the action cards, and here's an example. 3-round burst. It's a burst rifle. For this example, this is a main action, indicates. There's also bonus actions, but this is the main. When performing this attack, you may discard 1 card from your hand to reroll 1 die. This is the speed value. and the attack box with the die and the range. In the invasion group cards, here's an example, singular strength, that shows the invasion groups that are summoned from the specific portal tokens shown here. And you can choose to summon either of the groups that go with that portal. For instance, here it's one pinky with 2 of the energy, or 1 Mancubus. Then the threat cards, for instance this one, Infestation, shows a setup, the invader summons from each face-up portal token, and what happens when a Marine opens the door. And demons cannot open doors if there are any portals on the map. There's 4 Marine cards, 1 for each Marine. Shows the health and the abilities. For instance, sprint. Discard 1 card from your hand to gain 6 movement points. And then there's 6 objective cards. For instance, Containment Protocol. Marines discard all objective tokens. Invader, gain 6 frag tokens. Once during his activation, a Marine may discard 1 card from his hand to place 1 progress token on an objective token. Then the Invader draws 1 event card. When the second progress token is placed, an objective token, discard both progress tokens and the objective token. Then the Invader gains 3 Argent. Then the smaller cards, there's 4 stun cards, 4 squad cards, 12 glory kill cards, and 24 class cards. Stunned, for instance here, an example, while defending you do not reveal any cards for defense. Shows the effects on die rolls. For the squad cards, for instance here, solo operative, 1 Marine. The initiative deck must include 1 additional Marine initiative card. You activate each time a Marine initiative card is revealed, and more information there. And then the glory kill cards, for instance here, Hardened Resolve. When you gain this card, recover 2 damage. While defending, you may discard this card to choose and remove 1 die. And then class cards, an example, Grenadier. During setup, gain 2 different grenade weapons of your choice. When you play a grenade card, gain 1 movement point. And I'll demonstrate the rules during setup and play, so we'll go to setup and play. For setup and play here, I'll be doing Operation Black Bishop. I'll be doing Mission 2, Molten Retrieval. Incident report. Few survivors remain at Ganymede Foundry after an Argent containment failure. Our scientists consider this event to be a rare opportunity for study. However, the security cams have gone offline. Your team must find and recover any surviving personnel so that they can be interviewed for anecdotal data. Objective, asset extraction, threat, horde. Any of the suggested invader cards, event deck, power overwhelming, seek and destroy, armored offensive, invasion card, deadly force. And there's the setup with the map tiles and also the tokens. When it shows them overlapping, that's the order in which they're put. So this is under this one, this one's under that one. And then in the case of Marine Victory, the surviving staff members thank you profusely as they are taken to processing to be interviewed about their experiences. One of the survivors comments that the UAC devotes a remarkable amount of funding to trauma counseling. And in the case of an Invader Victory, incident report, fire team killed in action attempting to recover personnel from the base. The UAC media department is assigned to honor their bravery and sacrifice with a primetime video special. Here's the map setup. First of all, you got doors at these locations. Then you have various portals that are stacked, so portals. Then you have teleporters. You have a few different locations. Some health packs you can gather as you go around. Weapons you can pick up in the store. And also some grenades. Some other weapons. Objective tokens. A couple behind this door here. One over here and here. I'll be using 2 Marines. And they're placed either on or adjacent to an active teleporter. And there's one active here, so they'll both go around this one. You shuffle the Glory Kill deck and put it in the play area here. And the invasion card recommended for this mission is Deadly Force. And you take this from the invasion card deck. And this shows the types of monsters that spawn at the different portals, and that's how the monsters or demons enter the game. And you only need these monsters, you don't need any of the others. So we'll set that aside. If you're not using the recommended invasion card, you just draw 2 randomly from the invasion card deck, and then of the 2 you have, you choose one of them. It's recommended for the monster demon event deck, you take all those with power. You take the set for Power Overwhelming, Seek and Destroy, and Armored Offensive. And those groupings are shown here in the bottom of the card. So there's 6 of each. There's 6 of the Power Overwhelming, 6 of the Seek and Destroy, and 6 of the Armored Offensive. Take those and you shuffle them for your monster event deck. The Invader has a deck of 18 event cards. In the playthrough I'll use the term Invader, monsters, and demons synonymously. Then the Invader takes the monster cards that are shown on its invasion card. And you have Pinky, Possessed Soldier, Cuckademon, Baron of Hell, and Incubus. All the other monsters you don't use. Then you take the objective card and the threat card that are called for in the mission. In this mission, the objective is asset extraction. Marines gain 4 progress tokens. Invader gains 6 frag tokens. Marine may gain an objective token by moving into its space. When a Marine with an objective token is fragged, place the token in its place. When a Marine with a objective token moves into a space-containing teleporter, he discards that objective token, and the Marine gains 1 progress token. Then the threat of Horde. At the start of the status phase, the Invader chooses 1 or 2 spaces containing a portal token, and flips the top portal token in each of those spaces face up. Then the Invader summons from each face-up portal. In a round, if there are no portals on the map, place an energy on each face-up demon card. Then you take the Marine card that goes with your figure, shown here. Shows the health. And then each Marine gets a set of 4 kind of standard action cards: armor, reposition, and 2 quick shots. Then from the class card deck, each Marine randomly draws 2. And then of those 2, he chooses 1. Delta will go with Commando. It gives certain abilities. And Alpha will go with Ranger. And for using less than 4 Marines, you take the appropriate cards from the squad deck, and for 2 2 Marines. Each gets to be a combat veteran. If there's 3, receive the taking point squad card, and if there's 1, the Marine takes a solo operative squad card. Then each Marine chooses 2 of the available 6 standard weapons, and one Marine can't have 2 of the same type. So Alpha will go with a super shotgun and a burst rifle. And then there's three action cards for each, and there go 1, 2, 3 on this. And they show the icon down there. Take those, and then you mix those with your 4 other action cards. So you have a total of 10. Put them face down. And then similarly, Delta will choose weapons. He'll go with a combat shotgun, which is this one, and with a static rifle, which is this. And he'll mix in those action cards for those weapons. And they each have 3 action cards with them. It's all set up, ready to play. So you can play this individual mission, or you can play all 6 of the missions within a operation. And if you do all 6, then whoever wins the most of the individual missions wins, or if you each win 3, the Marines and the Invader, then whoever wins the last one wins. We'll start out here. It goes in a series of rounds, and each round consists of 2 parts, the status phase and the activation phase. So in the status phase, you do initiative cards, and you take 1 initiative card for each Marine, and then 1 for each of the Invaders. You shuffle the initiative cards. Once you do that, the Invader readies exhausted demon cards, and demon cards are exhausted when they're at 90 degrees, and you unexhaust them by putting them back up. And Invader then also draws event cards from his event deck until he has a hand of 6 event cards. So for the current threat, the Horde, at the start of the status phase, the Invader chooses 1 or 2 spaces containing a portal token and flips the top portal token in each of the spaces face up. Then the Invader summons from each of the face up portals. And the portals are activated if they're flipped face up, they're face down right now. So he'll do that before we do the initiative cards. He wants to get a couple different groups of monsters, so he'll flip over this portal. And then also flip over this portal. And then what invaders come from the portal are dictated by the invasion card. And for this one, he can either get 1 pinky and 1 argent, or 2 possessed soldiers. And for the yellow one down here, he can get 1 cocodemon, 2 possessed soldiers, and 2 argent, or 1 cocodemon, 1 pinky, and 3 argent. And for up here, he'll get 2 possessed soldiers. And you put them either on the portal or adjacent to it. So put the 2 possessed soldiers up here. The pinky down here, and a cocodemon down here. And then you also get 3 argent. And he'll put that on this card here. And the Marine player doesn't get to see what options he has on this card, but since I'm just doing 1 player here. Then you can use an argent to activate a special ability for an Invader. And once you use the portals, they're removed from the game. For the initiative cards then, you have the two Marines, Alpha and Delta. Since there's 3 different types of invaders, you get 3 invader cards. So you take all those initiative cards and shuffle them together. That's your initiative deck. And to prepare the invader, from his action deck he draws 6 cards. And these will be his card hand, which he'll keep secret. And each of the Marines draws 3 cards from their event deck, which is shuffled. 3 that this Marine gets. So the 3 for this Marine. And if there's any monsters that are exhausted, they will be unexhausted by turning them. If they're exhausted here, 90 degrees, they turn them back up here. And the activation phase, we go to the initiative deck, and an invader goes. The invader gets to choose which of the groups he's going to activate. And he will activate the possessed soldiers, which are right here. And since these possessed soldiers have been activated, you turn it 90 degrees to show it's exhausted. But first you activate them. You do the movement points and you attack. Movement points are 4, which is shown on the demon card. And his health is 5 and his range is 5 as well. Now as far as being able to fire, you have to be within line of sight. And the different types of terrain affect movement and firing. Walls are the solid black, and you can't move across those or fire through those. These red dashed lines are impassable, and you can't move past those, but you can fire past them. It doesn't block your line of sight. Then there's also blocking areas, which are the solid red lines. So the figures can't move through the solid red line, and it also blocks the line of sight, I guess similar to a wall. And then difficult, which is with these dashed blue lines. In this case, the figure must spend 1 additional movement point to enter a space of difficult terrain, but it does not block the line of sight. So up here there's a wall. They can go in this way though. And go around. He's got a movement of 4, and you can move diagonally and you can fire diagonally also. This red dotted barrier only prevents movement, not firing, and so it doesn't affect line of sight. But if this were a wall instead of the red dotted barrier, he'd have to check for line of sight. And the way it works is either you have line of sight, you don't, or there's cover, which is like a partial line of sight. To check line of sight, you choose one corner of your square, and then you see if there's line of sight from that corner to any of the other corners where you're firing. If you couldn't hit all the corners of that square, then the defender would be able to do cover. When you have cover, you can choose to draw an additional card for the defense, but then you have to take the value on that card, whether it's dodging or a shield. We'll show that. As far as the range though, he's also within range. And the demon has these event cards that he can use. He can't use multiple of the same type, but he's got Crippling Strike, which stuns the defender. And if a defender is stunned, you put a marker on there, and then you basically, it can't draw defense cards. Or use Paranoia. We use this at the start of the activation phase. For each Marine, look at the top card of the action deck and place it on the top or bottom of the deck. Explosive Blast. Play this card after a demon performs an attack, targeting an adjacent figure. Roll 1 die. Each figure adjacent to the defender suffers 1 damage of each hit rolled. That sounds pretty good. It's got one adjacent there, you might be doing that. Or Demonic Precision. Play this card while demon is attacking. Reroll any number of dice. He's going to go ahead and do Explosive Blast. First he's going to see what he hits. So from his attack, Oxy's got 1 red and 1 black die he rolls. And his range is 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4. He's in range. And you count range diagonally or horizontally or vertically. So he rolls dice. Got 4 hits potentially. So he hit him, and we'll see what damage he does, but then he also used the Explosive Blast. And he's adjacent, so he suffered damage. So we'll discard this one, and then we'll resolve the damage. To resolve the damage, the Marine, first of all, let's see if he has any special abilities. He's got +2 health since he's a combat veteran. So he's got a maximum of 12 instead of 10. Figure out the damage. He draws the top one from his action deck. He's got 3 shields, which is nice. So he's able to absorb 3 of those hits, so he takes just 1 damage. And that is Alpha. And since he did Explosive Blast, we see what damage the adjacent one takes. And for this case, you roll 1 red die. Takes 1. Then I'm assuming you also see what he can absorb from his defensive capabilities. So you flip over the action card for the Marine, and he doesn't absorb any damage, so he takes 1 hit. And now this possessed soldier will go, and he'll use Demonic Precision. He's got a straight shot, so he doesn't really need to move. He'll go for him as well. And of course he rolls 1 red and 1 black. 2 hits. I'll re-roll both those. Same, so no benefit. And now the possessed soldier has gone. And he also has Overwatch. After remaining within 5 spaces to perform an attack, if he's in your line of sight, perform an attack targeting him. So he'll have he'll use an Argent energy so that he can do that when he attacks. And he's exhausted now, so set him off somewhere. And he can move after he went. He's got a movement of 4. He'll go over this way. Then we draw an initiative card. Alpha goes. So he's got a few options. He can do a magnum shot, a 3-round burst, or a reposition. And in each turn they can do one main action and as many bonus actions as they want. A main action is this symbol, a bonus is this, and this is a reaction. So he'll go with the main action of a 3-round burst. And for that, he's got a range of 6, so he can fire first. And he'll fire at this guy. While performing this attack, you may discard 1 card from your hand to reroll 1 die. That's nice. You can roll 3 red dice. 4 hits. Possessed soldier has got a total of 5 health. But for the... then we see how much damage the demon absorbs. And he's got 2 shields there. Which means that... so you draw this from the top of the event deck. And it's got 2 shields, which means he absorbs 2 hits. Other options are there might be nothing there, or you might get this special symbol. And for demons, if you get this special symbol, then it indicates a special defense you could have. For instance, Pinky, he would get 3 additional shields, or the possessed soldier would get 2 additional shields. And the defensive cards for the Marine are either shields or dodging, which causes you to avoid all damage. So he took 2 damage, which you indicate that on his card. And since he had done his Argent Powder, he's got the Overwatch where, since the Marine performed an attack, you can perform a attack, and he'll do that. It's got 1 red, 1 black again. 3. And then the Marine doesn't get any shields or dodging, so he takes 3 hits. That's pretty significant. So I'll indicate that in his card. He's taking a total of 4 damage, so he's down to 8 now. And further, he could do bonuses. He's got a repositioned pistol. He's not going to do that though. But he still has his movement, and if this demon had 1 more hit point damage, so that he had 3 hit points, he would be staggered. He only has 2 though. But if he were at 3, he could move. He's got enough movement to move on top of him, and when a Marine moves on top of a staggered demon, that's a glory kill, and he doesn't need to require any other effort. And in that case, he would be removed from the game, and you would receive a glory kill card. And for example, of 1 glory kill card, you might get an adrenaline rush where you'd recover damage. Another item, when they so doors are opened, and I'll just show a few more things here beyond the play. To open a door, you land adjacent to it. It can be diagonally adjacent to, and then you just open the door, and once doors are open, they aren't shut, they're just removed from the board. Teleportation, if a Marine lands on a teleportation, that activates it. Healing, you get 5 healing points. Grenade, you'd get a grenade. Or if you want to pick up a weapon, then you'd get the corresponding cards to put in your deck for that. A couple other items to note are the Marines have this ability of sprint where you can discard a card and gain 6 movement points, and also and when a Marine gets down to when a Marine meets his maximum amount of points he can take, he's fracked, so he's moved from the board, and the Invader gets a frack indicator. The next turn, the Marine can respawn, and will respawn at where there's an active teleporter. And also, the Marines can, they can walk into a teleporter and walk out another one. They're kind of just interconnected there. Hopefully that gives you a little sense of how to play it. So that's Doom, the board game from Fantasy Flight Games, 2016, and there's also an earlier version. I was very happy with it. Components are great. It's got really nice miniatures. Action's pretty quick, and I like that combat is pretty straightforward. You have some options on cards you can use, and it's asymmetric in that the demons perform differently than the Marines do. Seems to be a lot of replayability with the events you use and the actions you use. Probably also very enjoyable having multiple players kind of coordinate their efforts as well. It's a good game. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Thanks a lot.